The sun burned low over the edge of the ruined scrapyard world. It was a place where forgotten machines died and broken starships waited to be stripped clean. The smell of metal and dust filled the air. Most people avoided this graveyard of space. Tech, but not Jace. Jace was a human, young but hardened by life. He had spent years in space, working odd jobs, dodging pirates, and fixing whatever he could afford. Now he needed a ship his own. He didn't have much money. So, he came to the only place where a ship might be cheap, Rusthaven Junkyard. He walked through towering piles of destroyed ships. Wings stuck out like broken bones. Engines hung open like shattered hearts. Then, he saw it, a sleek, half-buried CRUICR, black and silver with one glowing blue line across the hull. Old, but not dead. Something about it called to him. He stepped closer. A panel lit up on its own, owner status, unregistered. His heart jumped. He pulled out his datapad and scanned it. The Junkyard bot confirmed, ship available for purchase. Value, 5,000 credits. That was all he had, every last credit. He hesitated only a second before confirming. Purchase complete. The ship hissed as it unlocked. The hatch slid open with a metallic groan. Jace smiled and stepped inside. Lights flickered on. The cockpit was dusty but intact. Controls blinked, waiting for commands. Then something moved. He froze. From the corridor ahead, someone walked into view. Not a human, a girl. Young, alien green skin, glowing white eyes, long silver hair floating like it had no weight. She wore strange tech-woven clothing, and her hands sparked with faint blue energy dots. She looked at Jace, surprised, then angry. "What are you doing in?" "My home?" she demanded. Jace blinked. "You're what?" "I live here," she said firmly. "You can't take this ship?" He held up his datapad. "I just bought it." She stared at, then narrowed her eyes. "Then you bought a prison." Before Jace could ask what she meant, the ship suddenly shook. A loud boom echoed outside. He rushed to the cockpit window. The scrapyard was under attack. Explosions lit the sky. Small fighter ships zipped overhead, firing red lasers into the junk piles. Bots were screaming in warning tones. Jace turned to the alien girl. "Who are they?" She didn't answer. Instead, she raised her glowing hands and touched the control panel. Symbols lit up. The ship rumbled to life. "Get in the pilot seat," she said. "But, now," Jace jumped in. The ship rose shakily off the ground. More blasts shook the hull. Enemy fighters noticed them. "They're after you?" Jace shouted. "Yes, and now you too. Why? No time, fly." He grabbed the controls, heart pounding. The ship roared forward, smashing through the top of a scrap tower. Enemy fire chased them. Jace weaved between piles of junk, barely avoiding the blasts. One laser hit their wing. Sparks flew. The alien girl pressed buttons beside him, shielding them in blue energy. Jace glanced at her. "Who are you?" She hesitated. "My name is Verakai. I'm the last of my kind, and now you're my pilot." The ship broke free of the scrapyard and soared into the sky. But they weren't safe. More ships were coming, and the war had just begun. Jace had never flown a ship like this before. It wasn't just fast, it moved like it could think on its own. Outside, enemy fighters closed in. Red lasers shot past the cockpit. Jace turned the ship hard to the left, avoiding a blast by inches. "Verakai!" He yelled. "I'm flying blind here. I don't even know what half of these buttons do." The alien girl stood behind him, steady despite the shaking. "Just fly. I'll handle the rest." She raised both hands and placed them on the glowing control panel. Her eyes turned bright white. The ship suddenly pulsed with light and energy. All systems connected. She whispered. "Jace gasped. The controls in front of him changed. They now showed real-time enemy positions, damage warnings, and flight paths. It was like the ship was reading his mind. "You're connected to the ship?" he asked. "I was born inside it," she replied. Or something like that. Outside, 2 enemy ships locked onto them. A warning alarm blared. Incoming missiles. JACE pulled the ship into a sharp dive. The missiles followed. Verikai touched the panel again. A glowing shield appeared behind them. One missile exploded against it. The second missed and crashed into a junk asteroid. Jace grinned. "Nice work." "I can't hold shields and weapons forever," she said. "Get us out of the system. I need coordinates." Verikai hesitated. "Go to the nearest nebula cloud." "The sensors won't work inside. We can hide there." "On it." Jace punched the engines. The ship roared forward. Space around. Then blurred. Behind, enemy fighters gave chase. Red lights filled the stars. Inside the ship, things started sparking. A panel blew out on the left. Jace gritted his teeth. "How much damage can this thing take?" "Not much more," Verikai said. She sat down beside him, breathing hard. "They weren't supposed to find me. I've been hiding here for a year." "Why are they after you?" he asked. She looked at him. "Because I know something they want. Something they're willing to kill for." Jace didn't push. "Not now." The ship reached the edge of the nebula. A purple cloud swirled ahead, thick with gas and lightning. "Here goes nothing," Jace muttered. They flew into the storm. Instantly, sensors dropped. Lights dimmed. Static crackled in the cockpit. Enemy ships hesitated outside. Jace turned off all systems except life support. The ship drifted silently into the cloud. "Are we safe?" he asked. "For now," Verikai said. They sat in silence. Jace finally looked at her. "So, you really live on this ship?" She nodded. "This vessel is more than a machine. It's alive. It's part of me. I've protected it, and it's protected me. And now I own it," he said, unsure. Verikai's eyes narrowed. "You paid for the metal, but not for me." "I didn't know you were inside," he defended. "I don't want to leave," she said quietly. "This ship is my home. If you want to fly it, we do it together, or not at all." Jace thought for a moment. "Then we're a team. But I need to know, what are we up against?" Verikai looked into the storm outside. "A secret army. One that's been building weapons from ancient tech. I found proof. And they'll kill anyone who learns the truth." "Where's the proof?" She touched her chest. "Inside me." Jace's heart sank. "Then they'll never stop hunting us." "No," she agreed, "unless we stop them first." Suddenly the ship shook again. An alarm flashed. "Something's entering the nebula," Jace warned. 1, 2, 5 ships. Dark and silent. No lights. No signals. "They found us." Verikai whispered. Jace grabbed the controls. "Let's finish what we started." She smiled faintly. "Then prepare for fire." The nebula lit up with flashing lasers. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. Lightning cracked through the nebula like a dragon waking from sleep. Purple gas lit up as energy storms twisted around the ship. Jace gripped the controls tightly, dodging invisible clouds that could fry their systems. Behind them, enemy ships crept in silent, slow, like hunters in deep water. "They're using stealth tech," Verikai said, her voice low. "But the nebula messes with their cloaks. If they fire, we'll see them. Can we fire first?" Jace asked. "Not unless we want to give away our position." Jace looked at the power readings. The ship was low on energy. Shields were down to 20%. Weapons were unstable. "We can't fight like this," he muttered. "No," Verikai agreed, "but we can trick them." She touched the panel again. This time, her skin glowed with a soft golden light. Strange alien symbols floated in the air. Jace had never seen anything like it. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Calling the ship's memory," she said. "There's something here. An old system, maybe a trick from before I was born." The panel responded. A section of the ship's wall opened, revealing an ancient sphere. It spun slowly, humming with quiet power. "It's a cloaking pulse," she explained. "One-time use only. It can hide us completely for 30 seconds. "That's not much," Jay said. "It'll be enough if you can fly blind." Jace cracked his knuckles. "I'll try." The enemy ships fired bright red lasers cutting through the clouds. One blast missed them by inches. Jace flipped a switch. "Do it now." Verikai pressed her hand on the sphere. The ship disappeared. All lights went out. Everything went silent. Jace flew through total darkness. No screens. No sensors, only feeling. He turned left, then dived, then pulled up sharply. Outside, the enemy fired in all directions, confused. 5 seconds left. Verikai warned. Jace spotted a small asteroid in the cloud. He spun the ship behind it and killed the engines. Cloak ended. The ship reappeared, hidden perfectly behind the rock. The enemy flew past, searching. They didn't see them. Verikai let out a long breath. It worked. Jace sat back. "We're alive." For now, they stayed hidden as the enemy. Ships drifted away. Slowly, the storm swallowed them again. Inside, Jace finally turned to Verikai. "What are you really hiding from them? You said proof. Of what?" She was silent for a moment. Then she said, "There's an ancient AI core buried deep inside this ship. A memory bank from the first builders. It knows secrets. Dangerous ones. They want it," Jace frowned. "Why not destroy it?" "Because it's not just data. It's alive. Like the ship. It speaks to me." He leaned forward. "Can it help us?" "It's sleeping," she said. "But if we reach the right star system, I can wake it up. It will guide us." "Where is that system?" She pulled up a glowing map. "Here. The Zephyrs." A dead sun with a hidden key." Jace nodded. "Then that's where we go." But just as he set the course, something beeped on the scanner. A small escape pod, floating nearby. "No signal," Jace said. "Looks dead." Verikai stared at it. It wasn't there before. A trap? Or a survivor? Jace moved closer. The pod was cracked and spinning. As it turned, they saw something inside. A small figure. "Is that a child?" Jace whispered. Verikai nodded slowly. "No. Not a child. A clone." The pod suddenly powered up and sent a pulse. Jace's ship shut down. All systems offline, the screen said. They were dead in the water. Vera single quotes. Kai stood up. That wasn't just a trap. Then what was it? She looked at him. It was a warning. The nebula grew darker, and something ancient had just awakened. The ship sat still in the nebula. No sound, no light, no power. Jace slammed the control panel. "Come on, wake up." Nothing responded. Outside, the clone pod floated silently. Its pulse had knocked out every system. Even the emergency lights were dead. "This is bad," Jace muttered. Verikai stood near the darkened console, her eyes glowing faintly. The pod sent more than just a shutdown signal. It entered the core memory. It's searching for something. Jace turned. "You mean it's inside the ship's brain?" She nodded. "Yes, and if it finds what it's looking for, it could activate the AI before we're ready, or worse, erase it." Jace looked at the floating pod again. "So what do we do?" Verikai walked over to a hatch in the floor. She pulled it open, revealing a ladder leading deep into the ship's core. "We go inside, to the heart of the ship." Jace stared down into the shadows. You've got to be kidding me. No choice, she said. The AI is waking. We must speak to it first before the enemy does. They climbed down the corridor. Inside was quiet, lit only by the faint blue light coming from Verakai's skin. Strange vines of metal and cables pulsed along the walls, like veins in a living creature. This place is alive, Jace whispered. Yes, she said. The ship grows, learns, remembers. They reached a round door covered in symbols. Verakai placed her hand on it. It hissed open. Inside they found a glowing sphere floating in the middle of the chamber. A heartbeat-like thump echoed through the room. This is the core, she whispered. And that, she pointed, is the memory keeper. Jay stepped closer. The sphere blinked, once, twice. Then opened. A projection appeared tall, human-like, but made of white light. Its face was calm but ancient. Verakai. It said, in a deep, echoing voice, You return? With a stranger. Jay swallowed hard. Hi. Human. Identified. Pilot class. Untrained, curious, reckless, compatible. Compatible? Jace asked. The AI turned to Verakai. Enemy. SIGNAL detected. Clone protocol breached containment. You risk everything. I had no choice, Verakai said. They found us. Again. They seek to erase me, to silence what I know. But time is short. Jay stepped forward. Then tell us, what do you know? The AI hesitated. Before your species existed, the builders ruled this galaxy. They created life, and machines and monsters. When they vanished, they left weapons hidden in stars, secrets buried in ships. This vessel is one of them. Why does the enemy want you? Jace asked. Because I know the location of the core forge, the place where the first weapon was made. If they reach it, they can awaken the galaxy's end. Jace looked at Verakai. We can't let that happen. No, you must stop them, the AI said, but first you must survive. Suddenly, alarm screamed through the chamber. Jace jumped. The ship's still off how? Verakai's face went pale. The enemy clone, it's taken over an inner system. It's trying to possess the ship. The AI turned to them both. You have seconds. One choice. Link with me fully and become part of the ship, or run. And die. Jace blinked. Link with you? What does that mean? You and Verakai will share your minds, your memories, your pain. Only then will you unlock the full power. Verakai looked at Jace. This will change everything. Jace took a breath. Then he nodded. Let's do it. They stepped forward. Light from the core wrapped around them both. Their minds connected. Jace saw flashes Verakai's past, her lonely hiding, her silent pain. Verakai saw Jace's memories, his broken home, his anger, his dream of freedom. Their minds became one. The ship roared back to life. Engines flared. Weapons locked. The enemy pod outside exploded from a single shot. Jace opened his eyes now. Glowing like hers, Verakai smiled. Welcome, Captain. But far away, beyond the nebula, the real enemy had just seen them awaken. The ship tore through the last edge of the nebula cloud, now fully awakened. Blue energy streamed across its hull like flowing rivers. The engines no longer sputtered, they roared with power. Inside, Jace and Verakai sat side by side, joined by a link deeper than blood. Jace blinked, his eyes still glowing faintly. That was intense. Verakai looked calm. You saw everything, he nodded. I saw your world. The way they hunted your people, burned your cities. You were just a child. And you, she said gently, alone since you were 15. Working on ships, no one ever trusted you. He looked forward. They will now. Alarms lit up again. Enemy ships. At least a dozen, blocking their path. Looks like they've been waiting for us, Jace muttered. They must have tracked the clone signal, Verakai replied. Jace cracked his fingers over the controls. Then we don't run, we fight. Verakai stood, her hands glowing brighter. The AI is ready. It unlocked the ship's deepest systems. We have weapons no one's seen in 1,000 years. Outside, the enemy ships began to move. A giant carrier in the middle opened its bay doors. From it, a huge war drone floated out 3 times bigger than Jace's ship, armed with 6 plasma cannons. Well, Jace said, this'll be fun. The battle began. Enemy ships fired. Jace dodged left, then rolled under a blast. He returned fire blue lasers slicing through a small fighter. It exploded. Verakai shouted, "Charge the core cannon." Jace flipped the switch. Charging. The war drone aimed its main cannon. It fired. The beam streaked across space, but Verakai released the core cannon at the same time. A massive white blast burst from their ship. It cut the enemy beam in half and struck the drone directly in the chest. Boom. The war drone cracked apart. Fire and light filled the stars. The other enemy ships backed off, afraid. Jace laughed. Now that's power. But the victory didn't last long. A signal flashed across their screen. It was a message. Encrypted. Old builder language. The AI translated it, "Surrender the girl, or we destroy the rebel fleet." Jace frowned. What rebel fleet? The map zoomed out. Far across space near a hidden moon, another group of ships was under attack. Small, mismatched vessels. Not military, civilians, pirates, refugees. But they had one thing in common. They were all fighting the same enemy. Verakai looked at the data. That's the Starfire Rebellion. They were our last hope before we fell. They're outgunned, Jace said. If we don't help, she whispered, they'll all die. Jace stared at the screen. Set course, you're sure? He nodded. I didn't buy this ship to run away. Let's save them. The ship jumped to LIGHTSPEED. They arrived minutes later, right? In the middle of a massive battle. The rebel ships were falling fast. JACE didn't wait. He dove straight into the fight, guns blazing. Enemy fighters chased him. Verakai blasted them from behind with pulse turrets. The AI activated auto-defense mode. One by one, enemy ships fell. The rebels saw the glowing ship and cheered. A voice came through the radio. Unknown vessel. This is Commander Rain of the Starfire Rebellion. Who are you? Jace grinned. Just a guy who bought a ship and found a new purpose. Rain replied, then welcome to the fight. They fought side by side. At the center of the enemy force, a massive battle cruiser hovered black and gold, shaped like a blade. Its captain watched the fight from a dark chamber. His name was Warlord Trask. He turned to his officer. So the girl has awakened the ship. No matter, lock on to them. Prepare the Oblivion Ray. Back in the battle, Verakai gasped. I felt it, she said. They're preparing the ancient weapon. What does it do? Erases ships. Mines, everything. Jace gritted his teeth. Then we destroy them before they use it. The real war was just getting started. The space around them burned with battle. Explosions bloomed like fire flowers. The rebel fleet was holding barely. But the enemy cruiser was preparing something darker. Inside the enemy command ship, Warlord Trask stood calmly. The lights dimmed around him. Begin charging the Oblivion Ray, he said. His crew obeyed. Deep within the ship's core, a glowing black crystal spun. Strange symbols pulsed on it, builder tech, twisted by dark minds. Back on Jace's ship, the AI gave a warning. The Oblivion Ray is activating. Time to impact, 6 minutes. Jace turned to Verakai. We can't let them fire that thing, she nodded. I can feel the builder energy. It's unstable. If we can get close, I can stop it from inside." "You mean go aboard that monster ship?" "Yes." Jace looked at the screen. The enemy cruiser was massive, easily 10 times bigger than theirs. Covered in shields, cannons, and dark metal spikes. "I'm in," he said. She smiled. "I knew you'd say that." They sent a signal to the rebellion. "We're going in. Cover us." Rain's voice came back steady. "You'll have 5 minutes." "We'll hold the line." Jace gripped the controls. "Let's make history." The ship blasted toward the enemy cruiser. Fighter ships tried to stop them, but the rebels flanked and cleared the way. Explosions rocked the stars. Jace flew low, spinning under enemy turrets. The cruiser's shields glowed red as they hit full speed. "Now!" Verakai shouted. She reached out, her hands glowing with blue light. The builder symbols on their ship responded. The front of the ship shimmered and phased through the enemy shield like mist. They slipped inside. Crash. The ship slammed into a hangar bay, skidding across the metal floor. Sparks flew. Jace jumped out, gun ready. Verakai followed, her hands still glowing. "Where's the core?" he asked. "This way," she said, running toward a glowing tunnel. Enemy guards rushed in. Jace fired, taking down 2. Verakai used her power blue waves of energy, pushed back the others. They ran through dark corridors. Sirens screamed. Intruders detected. The closer they got to the core, the darker the ship became. Walls pulsed like breathing skin. Symbols glowed and faded. The air was heavy with pressure. Finally, they reached the core chamber. It was huge. In the center floated the Oblivion Ray, a spinning black crystal surrounded by crackling energy. Cables stretched out like a spider's web. The hum in the room was deep and terrifying. Verakai stopped. "I must connect with it, but it'll fight back." Jace nodded. "I'll protect you." She stepped forward, raising her arms. Blue light surrounded her body as she reached toward the crystal. Suddenly, a loud voice filled the room. "Verakai." Warlord Trask stood on the far side of the chamber, tall, armored. His eyes glowed red. "You could have been a queen," he said. "But you chose the humans." "They chose me," she replied. "And I chose freedom." He raised his weapon. Jace fired first. The blast hit Trask's armor, sparks flew, but he stood tall. Trask rushed forward, sword drawn. Jace met him in the middle. Metal clashed. Jace ducked a swing, rolled, and fired again. Trask blocked it and kicked him across the floor. Verakai screamed. "I need more time." Jace got back up, blood on his lip. "Then take it." He fought harder, dodging, blocking, striking. Trask was strong, but Jace was faster. He used his size, speed, and sharp thinking. He lured Trask into the cable lines. Then he shot the floor near Trask's feet. Boom! Sparks exploded. Trask staggered. Blinded for a second, Jace rushed him and tackled him into a support beam. At the same moment, Verakai touched the crystal. Blue and black light exploded. The core screamed. Symbols flew through the air like ghosts. The ship shook violently. Trask roared, "What have you done?" Verakai's voice was calm. "I freed it." The Oblivion Ray cracked. Then it shattered. A shockwave burst through the chamber. Jace grabbed Verakai and ran. "Come on!" They reached the hangar just as their ship reactivated. AI voice. "Welcome back, Captain." They jumped inside. The ship blasted out of the cruiser. Just before it exploded in a massive fireball, the sky turned gold. The rebellion cheered. The enemy fleet began to retreat. Verakai collapsed into her seat, breathing hard. "It's over," Jay smiled. "Not yet. One part left." The battle was over. The enemy fleet had scattered, broken, and leaderless after Warlord Trask's death. The rebellion had won for now. Fires still burned in space. Broken ships floated like silent ghosts. But there was peace. For the first time in years, there was peace. Jace sat in the pilot's seat, watching stars return to calm. The ship hummed softly beneath him, not like a machine, but like a creature breathing slow and steady. Verakai stood beside him, arms crossed, quiet. He looked up at her. "You saved a galaxy. Not bad for someone living in a junkyard." She gave a small smile. "You helped." "We make a good team," he said. She nodded. "The ship agrees." The AI's voice echoed gently. "Core systems stable. Enemy threat cleared. Future course uncertain." Jace leaned back. "Uncertain sounds good. Means we get to choose." Verakai looked out the window. The stars stretched forever. She whispered, "There's still more out there. More secrets, more builder tech, others who need help." Jace turned to her. "Are you saying you want to keep flying?" She met his eyes. "With you? Yes." They sat in silence for a moment, then a message came through the comms commander. "Rain from the Starfire Rebellion. To the unknown ship that saved our lives, this is Rain. We owe you a debt. If you're willing, we could use your help rebuilding. There's a place for you with us." Jace hesitated, then he looked at Verakai. "What do you think?" She shrugged. "Help them. Then we fly somewhere new. The galaxy is wide." Jace smiled. "Deal." He sent the reply. "This is Jace and Verakai. We're coming in." 2 days later, the rebel base orbited a peaceful green moon. Engineers worked day and night fixing ships. People laughed, cooked food, shared stories. They weren't soldiers, they were survivors. Fighters, families. Jace walked through the camp with Verakai beside him. Everyone turned to look. People clapped, nodded, whispered, "That's them," someone said. "The pilot and the alien girl." A small child ran up to Verakai and gave her a flower. She knelt and smiled. "Thank you," Jace grinned. "You've got fans now." Later, they stood near their ship. It gleamed under the moonlight, fully repaired, glowing softly. "You know," Jace said, "when I first saw this ship in the junkyard, I just wanted something to fly. Something cheap." Verakai tilted her head. "And what did you get?" He looked at her. "A war, a partner, a reason to care." She stepped closer. "And what now?" Jace reached into his jacket and pulled out the original bill of purchase, the TLCS. When he used to buy the ship, he smiled, ripped it in half, and let the pieces fly into the wind. "This ship doesn't belong to me," he said. "It belongs to us." The AI spoke again, voice calm and warm. Pilot and Guardian confirmed. New command code accepted. Jace and Verakai. Verakai looked touched. "You really mean it?" Jace nodded. "It's not a ship for one person anymore." She reached out and pressed her palm to the hull. It shimmered under her touch. The ship was alive, and it had chosen them both. That night, as stars rose, they prepared for their next flight. The rebellion would hold for now. Others would protect this system, but out there somewhere more forgotten technology waited. More lost worlds, more people in need. Jace sat in the cockpit. "Where to?" Verakai slid into the seat beside him. "Let's follow the wind," he smiled. "Then hold on." He pushed the controls forward. The ship lit up, engines glowing. Wings shifting. Together they soared into the stars. A pilot, an alien. A living ship, and a future of their own.